SAYWHAT Programs Manager. I was the SAYWHAT National Coordinating Committee Chairperson in the year 2007. When I was campaigning to be the National Coordinating Committee Chairperson, I faced quite a number of challenges. First, it was the challenge of myself being a young woman, a female student, aspiring for this particular position. There were issues to do with my capacity, my own belief that I had the ability to do this. There were also issues of time, if I was also going to be able to have enough time to give towards this particular position because of its demands that it actually had. I also faced a challenge in that most of the young men during that time still did not believe in young women leadership. They thought young women could not do this, I could not take up the position, and they just doubted generally that a young woman would be able or had the right capacity to actually lead the entire organization. Because the National Coordinating Committee within SAYWHAT, it's a very powerful structure. It's a structure that is key in decision making when it comes to SAYWHAT. And when you're selected to be in the National Coordinating Committee, you actually have an opportunity to sit within the SAYWHAT Advisory Board. So that alone would really tell that it's a powerful position. It's a position that requires someone who was astute, someone who had the capacity and confidence to actually lead the entire group of the movement. I also faced challenges in the voting process. You know, women and voting really are not friends. And because mostly young men are good at garnering votes, they are good at going around soliciting for favor and people to actually vote for them in different so many ways. But a lot of time, most times young women, we face the challenge of creating the right networks. We face challenges in maneuvering and convincing others to be able to vote for you, because generally women and men would just doubt the ability of a young woman to actually take up a position of leadership, particularly being a chairperson, a CEO, or anything that really is at the top of the range. And lastly, I did of course face the challenge of competition, particularly from other young women. You just had to run that extra mile for you to then also be recognized as the right woman, young woman, to actually take that particular position up. I was inspired to take the position mostly because I had gained a lot of knowledge about SAYWHAT. I had also developed great passion for the organization because I had done a lot of work before I actually joined SAYWHAT in 2005. So between then and 2007, I had an opportunity to actually learn more about the organization and develop a connection with it that I wanted to do more for the organization. And I thought being a chairperson would help me ensure that my own passion and vision for the organization could also leave a mark within the growth of SAYWHAT. Well, during my tenure as the National Coordinating Committee Chairperson, I did face some challenges within the structure itself. There continued to be a lot of a disregard for female leadership. You would do quite a lot to be able to prove that you are the National Coordinating Committee Chairperson, and you needed to be heard, you needed to take control, you needed to build more in terms of your capacity as a young woman. You needed to go an extra mile to strengthen your skills and your abilities to speak in front of people, your ability to create the networks, and the ability to generally lead another group which was also quite male dominated. So it took quite a lot for me as a young woman, but generally I did enjoy that particular journey and that opportunity, but with always the reflection that I needed to do more in order to strengthen my capacity as a young woman to take up such a leadership position. during that time, we did manage to make an impact in sexual and reproductive health service delivery, particularly targeting female students. I think that time, this is when the conversations about where do we place young women, particularly female students, in positions of leadership or in the whole continuum of sexual and reproductive health really began there. And we realized then that we probably needed separate structures that would help us to actually build more capacity, strengthen more capacity of female students. And this is when the ideas around the Web for Life started to come in, although the Web for Life was then institutionalized in 2010. But the thinking around it really began then because of realizing that no, there is a huge gap in really getting young women on top, and also to ensure that they take up positions that needed them to be able to make a difference on the ground. And I believe then, as I was the female student, I was a female student, a young woman, and within the position of chairperson, a lot of female student initiatives began to come into place, and that particular realization that young women also needed their structures that would enable them to be capacitated as they needed to be. To ensure that the playing field for both male and female students is leveled up is to ensure that universities draw up or design programs around leadership development of skills, particularly the skills of female students. That will go a long way in ensuring that those young women that they are developing academically also have those social skills and life skills that will take them a step further when they go out in the industry, when they go out in the different spaces that they're going to go after graduating. It will really enable them, it will ensure that they are well groomed and well positioned to take up real leadership positions at the end of the day. So universities must really prioritize or embed their academic, priorities within a leadership context that will ensure that both female students, even male students in some cases, continue to be mentored around leadership skills. Well, currently I'm a programs manager here at SAYWHAT, but in the next 5 years I aspire to be more involved in supporting different organizations to do more in strengthening governance structures, issues to do with governance, and ensure that more, particularly women, have an opportunity to lead in those organizations, in those structures that they are in, and ensure that there is equity in all the spaces that we as women aspire to enter and position ourselves rightfully, to ensure that women's issues continue to be addressed, women's issues also continue to be prioritized.